Ukraine has the green light to become a member of NATO. This according to NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg, who said this week that all the countries in the transatlantic military alliance have agreed to admit the war-torn country to the club after the war with Russia is over.
That Ukraine will become a member.
Is Ukraine's bid for NATO membership a threat to Russia's security or a recipe for disaster? Recently, there has been a lot of talk about Ukraine's desire to join the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, and the potential consequences of such a move. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's recent meeting with NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has further intensified this debate. Zelensky said, "NATO's visit is a sign of readiness for ambitious decisions." During their meeting, Zelensky expressed his belief that Stoltenberg's visit to Kiev was a sign that NATO is ready for a new chapter in its relations with Ukraine. He spoke of ambitious decisions that could be made between the two parties. Zelensky also discussed four main issues, including the Ramstein format meeting that is expected to be held soon and the decisions that Ukraine expects from its partners, especially regarding military support. Appeals for more arms and membership. Zelensky also requested that NATO help Ukraine overcome the restraint of its partners in the supply of longer-range weapons, modern aircraft, artillery, and armored vehicles. Before we continue, if you're new here, please subscribe and join our community. By subscribing, you'll be the first to know about our latest videos on geopolitics, economics, and finance trends. And if you find this video informative and insightful, please give it a like. Likes help our channel reach a wider audience, which means more people can benefit from our content. Thank you for your support. Now let's dive in the topic. Ukraine has been seeking more support from its partners as the country continues to battle Russian aggression. Zelensky further emphasized that there is no objective barrier to the political decision to invite Ukraine into the alliance. Stoltenberg offers solidarity and support. Stoltenberg offered NATO's solidarity with Ukraine during his visit and stated that Ukraine's rightful place is in NATO. He assured Zelensky that membership and security guarantees for Ukraine would be high on the agenda of the alliance's July summit. The NATO Secretary General also spoke of Ukraine's need for more weapons and assured Zelensky that NATO stands with Ukraine today, tomorrow, and for as long as it takes. Kremlin's opposition to NATO membership for Ukraine. The Kremlin, on the other hand, remains opposed to Ukraine's membership in NATO. It has repeatedly stated that Moscow regards the alliance as a hostile bloc, and that one of the main goals of its special military operation in Ukraine is to prevent it from joining NATO. The Kremlin reiterated its stance after Zelensky's meeting with Stoltenberg, saying that Ukraine's admission into NATO would present a serious danger to the security of Russia. The recent meeting between Zelensky and Stoltenberg has only intensified the debate. What do you think about Ukraine's bid for NATO membership? Do you think it is a threat to Russia's security or a recipe for disaster? Let us know in the comments below. Russia sees Ukraine's bid for NATO membership as a threat to its security. Russia fears that NATO expansion into its traditional sphere of influence would diminish its power and security. Now, let's discuss the arguments for and against Ukraine's bid for NATO membership. Those who support Ukraine's bid argue that it would deter Russian aggression and ensure the country's security. NATO membership would provide Ukraine with access to military equipment, training, and intelligence, as well as the support of a powerful military alliance. Moreover, Ukraine has demonstrated its commitment to NATO's values, including democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. On the other hand, those who oppose Ukraine's bid argue that it would escalate tensions with Russia and potentially trigger a new conflict. Russia has warned that it will take countermeasures if NATO expands further into its sphere of influence. Therefore, some argue that NATO membership would be provocative and risky, and that Ukraine should pursue a more balanced foreign policy that takes into account Russia's concerns. The visit of Jens Stoltenberg to Kiev was seen as a sign that NATO is ready for a new chapter in its relations with Ukraine, a chapter of ambitious decisions. Zelensky also expressed his hope that the upcoming Vilnius NATO summit in July could become historic and that he had been invited to attend. However, he stressed that it was important for Ukraine to receive a corresponding invitation to join the alliance. Zelensky emphasized that Ukraine has been supported by NATO throughout the war, with member states supplying it with weapons, but more are needed. He argued that all delays in receiving more weapons cause deaths in Ukraine. Stoltenberg agreed that Ukraine's rightful place was in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization and that membership and security guarantees for Ukraine would be high on the agenda of the alliance's July summit. While Ukraine announced a bid for fast-track membership of NATO last September after the Kremlin said it had annexed 4 Ukrainian regions that its troops have partially occupied, Russia has made it clear that it opposes NATO admitting Ukraine, a former Soviet republic. The Kremlin stated that allowing Ukraine to join NATO would pose a serious, significant danger to the security of Russia. However, Stoltenberg's visit to Kyiv comes at a vital juncture in Russia's almost 14-month-old invasion, which has killed thousands, uprooted millions, destroyed cities, and devastated the Ukrainian economy. After weathering a Russian winter and spring offensive that has masked a only small advance in the east, Ukraine now hopes to retake land in its south and east in counteroffensive in the coming weeks or months. Several NATO member states have already pledged their support to Ukraine by supplying military aid, such as Denmark and the Netherlands announcing they would jointly donate 14 Leopard 2 tanks, and the United States announcing $325 million in new military aid, including ammunition for high-mobility artillery rocket systems, HIMARS, advanced missiles, and anti-tank mines. So, is Ukraine's bid for NATO membership a threat to Russia's security or a recipe for disaster? The answer is not clear-cut. NATO expansion into Eastern Europe has been a contentious issue since the end of the Cold War, and Ukraine's case is no exception. While NATO membership would provide Ukraine with security guarantees and the support of a powerful military alliance, it would also escalate tensions with Russia and potentially trigger a new conflict. Therefore, it is crucial that Ukraine and its Western partners carefully consider the risks and benefits of NATO membership and pursue a balanced foreign policy that takes into account Russia's concerns. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video informative, please like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching,